And today our guest is the living proof that you can actually make it out alive and still be funny and be a podcaster, which is the hardest profession in the world. You do the
Well, I mean,
hardest job in.
is it worthy of a Golden Globe? I mean, I watched the Golden Globes on Sunday and they gave out an award for best podcast. And I thought, is there more of a mail it in style of entertainment than podcast? I mean, you've got filmmakers that smuggle cameras into North Korea to document human rights abuses, and they edit it for 2 years and they fight to get into fest. And then we got Amy Poehler asking Gwyneth Paltrow what time she eats dinner at night.
Hey, that's a great clip. Do not shit on that clip. I'll give you this. Listen, podcasting's ridiculous and everybody's got one, but goddamn, is Amy Poehler really having a good hang? She's having a good fun hang.
No, Amy's extremely talented, and I'm not making fun of her. I'm making fun of people taking this seriously, and the fact that it costs $50,000 to get your podcast nominated. You have to pay that to get it nominated, and it's weeding out anybody that's doing a grassroots, do-it-yourself podcast. It's all corporate. It's fucking William Morris putting together a studio. Come on, look at us. Look at us.
This
cameras. Is what it's supposed to be all about.
Yeah, dude. This is exactly what it is. But dude, if we had a better studio and all this shit, I mean, it's just the sky's the limit, dude.
Yeah.
We might actually we might have it, maybe me, you, and like a Janis Joplin what do you call that? Where they
hologram?
Thank you. Good God, my brain is slow today.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna need you to cover a lot of the heavy lifting on this today, dude.
Yeah.
No, I know you're not. This is what's so great about this is that this is like I was excited to have this record come out. Like
I
on
was
the list.
So excited when you guys reached out and said this was the album. This is when I was growing up. I mean, my friends, all we listened to was rock that was made between 1966 and 1972. And Janis Joplin Pearl was one of my first cassettes I bought. We used to buy cassettes.
I remember.
And we'd go up to Rockwood and we'd play hacky sack and we'd throw a frisbee and we would listen to.
Stop there. Hacky sack. What level of a sacker are you? Can you do stalls?
I can do stalls. I can catch it on the back of my neck. When you smoke enough pot, it really is like it's a varsity sport in our high school.
Oh, we used to have at the smoking section at Seneca Valley High School, me, Tassos Lenderitis, fucking Ben Allen, Kevin Begini, Mark Thomas, the guys I used to hang out with my first band. I mean, that was it. Smoke cigarettes, smoke pot, and sack, dude. Sack.
Yeah.
$2.25 pack of cigarettes. $2.25. That was my starting smoking, and that was a lot back then to get that $2.25.
Well, my parents both chain smoked Viceroys, which I think had a skull and crossbone on it. They were really bad for you.
They were doing what like Europe. They were doing like what Europe and Canadians do now. Yeah. Like they were so ahead of the game where they were showing you like the death and the teeth falling out and the hole in your neck.
Yeah.
But back then, before anybody was doing that.
No, my father smoked 3.5 packs a day, and my mom smoked a pack a day. So I used to grab I smoked half a pack a day. So I just grabbed their cigarettes, and and I had asthma. But anyway, we would play hacky sack and frisbee, and I can just remember like when I hear "Cry Baby," it's just like it brings me back to that music. At that age, when you're rebellious and you're listening to somebody sing from their heart, and I think that nobody captured that more than Janis Joplin did. I can count on one hand how many white people I want to hear sing the blues, and she's the first finger on that.
She might be one of the, I mean, I would hate to say, I don't want to break it down by color whatsoever, but I mean, to be a white woman to sing like that, have that much soul,
and they didn't. That's the thing. No white women had sung blues
like that at all. No, I don't. I don't. Yeah, I mean, there had to have been. I mean, it's Alex, can you look that up? I mean, I don't think there had to have been other white women singing the blues. I mean, I know, like, because I'm thinking of, like, there's always like the Ella Fitzgeralds and the Bessie Smith, but that's not like blues singers. Like, hold on,
they're black, Josh.
Okay, you're right. No, you're 100% right. Well, what is it? I mean, but there's something, I think, with the thing about Janis is that it just felt like she wasn't just trying to be cool. You really felt an honesty in her voice, like that gravel, that feeling, and the fact, and I'm not look shaming her whatsoever, but the fact that she wasn't like this, like, gorgeous, centerfold, like she was a real human being that looked like her body was lived in and she had a hard life. And there was that, you know what I mean? It just added much more character.
You can't take that out of the equation. I mean, her having deep pock marks on her face. She was an outcast in high school. She felt like the ugly duckling. And that very much affected her, definitely relationships with men. I think you can hear in her vocals how she feels about being abandoned by men. I mean, when she cries out, about getting broke up, a woman left lonely on that album. I mean, you hear it, you hear the pain, and there was a neediness that she had. She was like, she used to fuck like the door, the bellhop would bring her bags to her room and she'd fuck the guy. There's stories about that.
Yeah, it says she grew up in Port Arthur, Texas, a very conservative oil town. She was artsy, loud, opinionated, which for a place like Port Arthur, Texas, I mean, could you imagine what that must have been like? It's like being gay, it's like to be an artist is like being like, I also fuck men and I'm a man. What? It's like, dude, I remember when me and Jelly Roll did a show. Was it Texas Tech, which is like a crazy Christian area, Corpus Christi, and dude, it was like they walked out because he said something about weed. They were like, "Oh my god, like we can't be here." So imagine what that's like to be a loud, opinionated woman in the fucking 50s and the 60s. She's emotional in a place that valued conformity. So she didn't fit in. She, like you said, bullied hard in high school. Mocked about her weight, looks, clothes. Oh man, she was voted ugliest man on campus as a cruel joke in college.
God. Yeah, I know that in college she kind of famously walked around barefoot and wore jeans, which you didn't do back then. Women didn't wear jeans in public, maybe to garden or farm. But so she was like, I think there's a part of her, there's this famous story about her going back home for her 10th high school reunion. Mm-hmm. And it was a big deal to her to go back there, having been successful, and try to, I don't know if she wanted to rub it in their face or whatever, but she went back and it actually was a horrible experience. Nobody changed. Nobody was affected by her fame. She still felt like a freak.
That's so crazy, man. Such a crazy, crazy sitch.
Never go to those reunions. I've never gone.
Why would you? Well, why would you go? Like, dude, reunions suck. I mean, I went. I don't think I went, dude. I was so bummed about the 20-year one. I was living in LA and I almost flew in for it, and nobody put any time or effort into it. And it was literally in the back of in the conference room of a friend that went to college. We went to high school with, his restaurant in Frederick, Maryland. The fucking. The buffet was just like chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Like it was bullshit. Uh-huh. And then the worst part is, to be honest with you, and Greg, I don't know, like, dude, you look at the people that were like the hot, attractive people, whether they were the guys or the girls, none of them are attractive anymore.
No, when you look at them and you go, all right, we're the same age. That means I look like these motherfuckers. I don't want to know I look this old. I hang around with younger people. I hang around with Josh Adam Meyer. This is how I feel young.
Dude, you understand how long? Like I pickled myself at like 36 because that was when I stopped drinking, doing drugs. That's not saying that I didn't have a couple. I did just have a nice little relapse, which was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'd never done, I never did coke back in the past when I had money, so it was really nice to be able to do that and buy enough. Yeah, it was nice.
Good.
It was nice to go. I'm gonna buy an 8-ball, and they were like, "Really? I never did that."
I think it's important to, check off those unrealized dreams.
It really is.
That was the last night I ever drank, which was January 1st. I quit in 1990. And I did an 8-ball with a friend that night. And I made a fool of myself. Blabbered on.
Oh no.
Was inappropriate. And I just went, and I was so ashamed. And then my friend who didn't do coke, like kind of pulled me aside, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I really respected this guy, and that was enough. That's I just quit.
Yeah, I went to Europe. I started drinking beers a little bit. But by the way, this is all the fans. I don't know if I've talked about this at all, but it was like it wasn't bad. I was drinking like an adult, not like I did in the past, and I was like, oh my God, I can handle this, and I could the whole trip. I barely got drunk. I'd get a buzz and I'd stop. I would never drink liquor, just beer, maybe wine. The Vatican, when I was at the Vatican doing this thing with Jelly Roll, I drank a little too much Prosecco, and I did get a little, I wouldn't say wasted, but I definitely, by the time we got back to the hotel, and then I got back to America, and dude, I was so depressed and bored that I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to keep drinking. I thought I was going to stop. And then it was like, okay, now I'm starting to, and then I think it was like one of those things where you're like, all right, if I'm going to end this thing, I need to have like one strong push, and I need to have the worst hangover ever. And so I was like, how do you do that? Cocaine.
There you go. How did you find it?
Oh, come on, dude.
You know a lot of coke dealers.
Come on, dude. Look at me. Dude,
I could not find it. Yeah.
I could have cocaine here right now.
Yeah.
Even if you could give me, my phone could be, you could give me a fresh, brand new burner phone. I bet you I could find cocaine within a half hour.
Yeah.
You just got to know who to ask.
Brought over by a hooker in a stolen car.
And that's how it started too. It wasn't the hooker, but it was the day that I decided to finally do it, which I was like, cause I went the whole trip without doing coke. So 3 months. Then I got back for about a month. I wasn't doing it. I was like, all right. And I was watching a Redskins game at this shitty bar, and there was this girl there. And I was like, hey, do you want to just go back to my place and get some coke and just fuck for a couple days? And she was like, all right. And I was like, okay, cool. Perfect. There we go, dude.
Jesus. Wait, who were you with in Europe for 3 months?
I was by myself. So I was by myself for the first month and a half, and then I was a month and a half with Jelly Roll and Post Malone.
Oh,
yeah. So
you hung out with Post Malone. My daughter dates. She's been going out for a while with Post Malone's stylist. You probably partied with him on the road. I'd like to find out.
Well, here's what's funny about those people. Like, that sounded so racist. Those people, the Posty people, like I got to know some of them, but it was the camps were very separate.
Oh, really?
So Post Malone, he's very well protected, and there was a couple times like we went to this wrestling thing and went out to dinner with him. But as far as like partying with him, like it was really separated. It was only
Is he a big partier? Does his group party?
I wouldn't say, yeah. I think drinking, yes, because I think, and that's not a knock on him because he's in great shape and he murders on stage. I never saw him eat one morsel of food. I've only seen him drink beer and smoke cigarettes. And I mean,
were there a lot of women around?
That's all. It's all that was it, dude. They were in a different side of the arena.
You know what I mean? You're just.
I'll tell you.
Being a pro. You're being a pro.
You get, dude. What am I supposed to do? I'm trying to go on tour with them again.
No, I get it. So
orgy after orgy. with uglies and hotties, with Janices and Mama Casses.
All right, let's get back to Janis.
I'm shocked that you're here for this. I don't mean to say it like that. Are you a neo hippie that I don't know about? Because
big time. No,
really?
Tie-dye shirts and long hair all through high school, and I had the denim jacket with Jim Morrison painted on the back of it. No, we went to all the Dead shows, but at the same time, like, we weren't pussy Deadheads. We were like hard rockers that also enjoyed the Dead a lot. So I feel like we were. I always felt like I wish I'd been, 18 years old in 1966. That was like, I felt like a person out of time, like I had been born at the wrong time.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got into college. It was the same all through college, and then, and then I quit drinking and I cut my hair, and I became a very serious stand-up comedian.
Were you Cosmic Vibes? Were you?
No,
were you like, you weren't like that. Were you Free Love?
Yes.
Really?
As a matter of fact, I grew up in Tarrytown, New York, and it was very free. There was very few people that dated. There was no boyfriends and girlfriends. We just kind of were all really good friends, and we all partied together, and there was a lot of having sex with each other. It was fine.
Oh God. I wish I experienced. I mean, I kind of experienced that in the rave scene a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't not like that. Like my buddy, my podcast producer, but he just got married, but he lives in Ibiza and like lived in Hawaii.
Really?
And he's just, dude, he's turned into a neo hippie. So we were in Ibiza with meeting all of his, like, these beautiful Spanish people, men, women, everybody just gorgeous. And we all did this mushroom ceremony. And while me and Jeremiah just, we're tripping, eating like the morsels of food that all these different people had brought, the attractive Spanish people laid in like a cuddle puddle and just laid there on the sand, like this, like 9 people, just, they weren't I mean, I don't know if they were making out, no body parts were out, but there was so much like love. And it was like, man, I mean, that would be weird if I'm like, hey guys, you just met me. Guys, jump in there.
Right.
Got a puddle, got to get in that little cuddle.
And you just bring an aggro male energy into it, and everybody just leaves.
I went to a sex party out here once. This girl brought me, and then she left early. And once she left early, she's like, "No, stick around." And she's like, just try to find some sex in there. And I was like, and after like 10 minutes of me being like, "Hey, what do I jump at?" All right, I'm just gonna go. Like, I don't know these people.
Right.
So the drugs, was it psychedelics or too?
Yeah, I used to sell mescaline. And so there was a guy, the town I grew up in, there was like a projects downtown, and it was all black, and there was a kid, I won't say his name, but he was a dealer. And then I was sort of I was his guy with the white kids. So I would sell the mescaline, and he came over my house one time, and I was out, and I came home, and my mother, his name was Andre, and my mother was sitting in the living room drinking tea with Andre, who was like clearly a gangster. And my mom just had no idea. He came by to get money from me. And so after that, I go, "Hey, Andre, we're done. I go, I can't have these two worlds coming together." And I stopped selling for him after that.
God, I did mescaline at the, which I'm very glad that I did this at this show. I went to see the last time I saw Dead and Company. Are you Deadhead?
Yeah.
Are you doing okay about because that's it. That's got to be it. I mean, you can't go on anymore. He's gone. The last main guy is gone. Yeah. Mickey is his drumming is garbage.
Well, he's deaf. Apparently he can't hear anymore.
That's what makes sense, because his little drum is, look, that's when he does the drum solo. That's when everybody goes to get beer and takes pisses at City Field.
Yeah, I know. The Space Jam is really brutal these days. But no, I've seen them like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of years. We got to see them at the Sphere, which was insane.
I bet.
So great.
I bet.
And and Bob Weir's interplay with John Meyers, like, It really was as good as Bob and Jerry. It was just insane. Yeah. So it was good to see that he was still on top of his game. And I was thinking about this when he passed. Like, I think I'd be hard pressed to name anybody that has done as many live shows as Bob Weir, because not only was he playing with the Dead, when the Dead wasn't touring, he had his own band that
Bob
he would
Weir
go out
and
with.
Rat Band. There's like Rat.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the and so Ratbird, or if so,
yeah, we got it. It's like Rat. It's like Rat. it's Alex, look that shit up, dude, because I'm not looking it up.
So I mean, starting in, the Dead was together since the early '60s, so they
Rat Dog.
Rat Dog, living in the movies. Old man, daddy's little cutie. I'm down, daddy by the Scooby like the back door.
Yeah, and he just loved it right to the end. There was a really good documentary about him that I saw about 6 months ago that you should see. I think it's on Netflix.
I became a fan of the band The Dead because of this show, having Phil Hanley on multiple times, having so giving them a shout out. Senator Al Franken. I was about to quit the show. I've talked about this before, so I hope I'm not redoing myself, but I was literally on the precipice of quitting the show, and we had Senator Al Franken on to talk about, I think it was Working Man's Blues or American Beauty, and he goes, "What you're doing is so cool." And I was like, "I'm actually thinking about quitting." He goes, "What number are you at?" And I tell him, he goes, "You can't. You're halfway done. Like, what are you doing? Like, what a loss. And what you're doing is so cool." And literally that was enough for me to stick around.
Well, The Dead, there was a great documentary about a train ride that The Dead did with Janis Joplin. Look that up, what it was called. But
let's look it up.
They basically did like a bunch of shows in Canada, and it was the band. It was the band, The Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, Buddy Guy.
Fuck.
And they document them just sitting in the bar car with their instruments, just jamming. It was insane.
Yeah, it's called the Festival Express. I actually saw that in theaters.
Wasn't that great?
Can we get you a better mic? Alex, we got to get you a better mic when you're on air. We got to get you tell JT. JT keeps sending me. He keeps sending me.
I got one in my studio. I'll make sure to bring one up.
Yeah, come on, dude. You sound like you're in a fucking goddamn, you're in Tron. Like I'm speaking to you. Are you Aries? Nobody gets that because nobody saw the movie. That would have been a funny joke if that movie would have done better than the 40 million. All right, let's talk Janis. Let's talk about her childhood before we get into this record. I want to because this is it. This is a very, very important record, and I think this is what. How do you put this? Because I think that if you're going to release a posthumous, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes, like posthumous.
Yes. If you're going to release a record after somebody passes away, this is the way you do it, because this feels like her life work. This feels like a record that is like untouched. It was like, here we go, guys. We're giving you what she gave. We're not going to fuck with anything else. We're just going to give you, and this is her masterpiece. It
really is. I mean, it's just song after song. There's 4 or 5 songs on the record that probably all of you know almost every word to.
Every word.
And, and it was recorded, literally, they finished like a week before she died. And, the last one they recorded was Mercedes-Benz, which is just her a cappella. I think one person is stomping their foot in the background to keep time. One take, done. And that song was actually written in between 2 shows that they were doing in LA at some theater. And she was with a couple friends, and they went to a bar next door between shows, and they just wrote down the words to Mercedes-Benz. And so, Bobby McGee, Get It While You Can. But it's just it's an amazing album. It's posthumous. I got to think the only other posthumous album that feels as much as it's the best album they made was Eat a Peach with the Allman Brothers, where Dwayne Allman had died. like before the album came out.
How do you spell posthumous? P-O-S.
P-O-S-T.
Yeah.
H-U-M-O-U-S.
H-U-M. Posthumously. So what are the best posthumously released? I'm going to put this into the internet released albums.
Well, Biggie had like 3.
But yes, okay, but all right, the big one would be Live After Death.
Yeah.
And but dude, there's like a million songs on there, and it's the same problem that I had with Use Your Illusion by Guns N' Roses, which is like, dude, if you just take the best songs off of both of those records and put it on one fucking album, that's up there with, I mean, is it Appetite? No, but it's a close second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not Chinese Democracy that took fucking 13 years. So going by this, and before we get into all the facts, this is what people are throwing up. Pink Moon by Nick Drake. And I agree with that. 28 minutes, no filler at all. I would say that's like, it's so intimate. Have you listened to that record? Oh God, dude. You know who I did it with? I did it with fucking with Duncan Trussell.
Wow.
I mean, and it's an iconic record, but it took years for this record to find people after this guy's died.
I'm putting that on my list right
now.
you'd
love it. I know you've heard a few of the songs off it.
Yeah.
They mentioned Sketches from My Sweetheart of the Drunk by Jeff Buckley, but that's not it.
Wait, no. Jeff Buckley had one album.
He had one album, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a cash grab. Which Pearl doesn't feel like a cash grab.
No, that's like Mountains of Neptune or whatever, like Hendrix's estate put out a bunch of albums and they didn't even do it right away.
The Cry of Love left. It's not a leftovers dump. You know, people say, I mean, because I'm reading here, people say it's a curated masterpiece. But because it feels like an album that he would have finished.
Well, the thing is, he had bought Electric Ladyland in New York, and he was just every night. That studio had a fucking lounge for partying in, and then it had the recording studio off of it. And he would just party, and he'd get inspired, and then he would go cut some tracks, and that went on for a year. So there was a ton of material, but none of it feels as complete as, basically the guy had 2 studio albums and he had 1 live album. That was it.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever listened to that one, The Cry of Love. Dock of the Bay, Otis Redding. That's a big one. I mean, that's what basically his biggest single.
He's in the 27 Club also, right?
Yep. Joy Division, Closer, released after Ian Curtis's suicide. That's the big record. I don't know if that's the one that we did on the podcast. They have some Elliott Smith. They said Live After Death, the Don Killuminati 7-Day Theory from Tupac, Janis Joplin. And I mean, yeah, I think the argument is that dude, in my opinion, out of all of these, Mac Miller, Circles, no. I would put this record.
Eat a Peach and Pearl. Nobody mentions Eat a Peach on there?
It didn't say it, no. It did not.
Well, maybe because Eat a Peach was actually, they didn't have enough tracks, so they used some recordings that they'd done at the Fillmore to fill out the I think it was 10 tracks, and maybe 6 of them were studio.
So with this record, this is what's so important, I think, about this record, because I was looking over all of the facts, all of the different doodads about this, 3 months after she dies, probably her clearest, I would say most focused capture of what you would call the Janis raw power.
Yeah.
It's emotionally, this is like, it's her lyrics are dark. I mean, she's not like, some of them are really, they're not, it's, if you really read what she's saying, but it's like with every song though, she sounds confident. She's playful. She's in control, which I think makes the tragedy of her dying so much harder. And it's like kind of frames is like, this is kind of where I think Janis, the direction where she would have gone. It was the same shit where I always say about Kurt Cobain. It's like, what would they have done next?
Yeah. Like,
what would Nirvana have done after In Utero, where they're pushing away the fame? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it seems like when they did MTV Unplugged and they did that cover of that Bowie song, that almost had like an Americana sound
mhm.
to it. And I could see them going deep into some acoustic Americana type stuff. What was that? What was the Bowie song they sang?
The Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah.
Oh, they're unplugged. They're unplugged. Is it? I always like to ask that question. I mean, I don't know if you have an opinion on it, but it's like everybody sucked the dick of the Nirvana Unplugged because he died.
Yes.
And then that came out, and that was such a powerful fucking thing with him ending it with "Where Did You Sleep Last Night?"
Yeah.
That Leadbelly song. But I mean, the Alice in Chains Unplugged is just so.
But you know, the Nirvana Unplugged, they told Nirvana, because Unplugged was only original music. And then Nirvana came on and they go, no, we want to do covers. And the head of MTV, Doug Herzog or whatever his name was, like dug in and was like, you're not doing it with covers. You have to do your songs. And they just said, well, we're not going on. And like literally an hour before, MTV relented and they came out and they sang those songs.
Which I love, because I love that they had like the meat puppets and I mean, they did. It's just crazy, you know, because they're the biggest band in the world. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, you have so much material. And they're like, this is the only way we want to do it. Oh, dude, all respect to them. And then they bring the meat puppets out there to perform the songs with them, which is incredible. And I mean, you know, I get it. And listen, I see why the Nirvana one is so important, because I think there's only such limited things that we have. And I think that's the same thing with Janis, is that there's such limited, what exists is what exists. And that's it. You know, it's like you pray that they have this like hidden vault of shit like Prince has that probably will never be released. But
well, there was something, I remember there's an album that I heard that she recorded like in Austin. She went to originally she went to San Francisco in the mid 60s and burned out. That's when she started doing drugs, and she kind of came back and she said, I didn't meet anybody out there that I'd call a friend. And then she got sober back in Texas, living with her family, but she would go to Austin for the weekends and she would play music there. And there was a producer that got 10 tracks out of her, just her and her acoustic guitar. And that came out later, and that was excellent.
Yeah, I'm looking over her like history right now, and I would say this, like we mentioned earlier, because I'm trying to get us to here. I'm trying to get us to Pearl, because I think that's the most important thing when you're talking about this, is that it's like, how do you get to this? Because she's done, you know, like we mentioned before, she grew up in a small Texas town, loud, weird, blah, 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 blah. She's bullied. She escapes San Francisco, finds the blues, Bessie Smith, finds drugs, as you do. Suddenly, the thing that she was mocked for becomes the thing that makes her famous. She explodes with Big Brother, but the chaos almost kills her. She tries another band, spirals harder, realizes fame doesn't fix anything. And then finally she resets and finds this new band. She gets more control, less noise. And that is how you get to Pearl.
Yeah.
You know, which is the cruelest joke possible, because it's this is like the sound of Janis finally getting her shit together, and then she immediately dies.
Well, it was also, she'd cycled through a bunch of bands, and, you know, Big Brother and the holding company were an existing band. And so when she came in, they had huge success. They went to the Monterey Jazz Pop Festival, which, I mean, Jesus, you should do an episode just on that. That festival, which was the Summer of Love, it was 67, preceded Woodstock, preceded Altamont. And that one launched Janis. It was the first time America had seen Jimi Hendrix. It was the first time America had seen The Who, Otis Redding. It was insane. And it went off without a hitch, perfect weather, everybody killed. And so anyway, so she
I love that I love you like perfect weather, 70 degrees, breezy.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of precipitation in the morning, but the dew settled. Everybody was cool. Hill was a little sick. A couple people fell. One person tore his Achilles.
It was a cold front. Yeah. But my point is, like, Big Brother was kind of squelching her because they wanted, first of all, they split the money evenly, which after a while it was like, all right, give me a fucking break. And, they went from, because Altamont got filmed and released and was a big hit, she became like one of the biggest stars in the country. And she wanted a horn section and she wanted a bigger sound. And they were like, that's not what Big Brother is. And she's like, well, then I'm not Big Brother. And so she moved on and cycled through a lot of musicians. And these were the musicians that, she, I think, sounded the best with.
Yeah, where is it? I just had a whole thing about the band. Yeah, so here, and by the way, our producer, producer / writer, Morty Coyle, he recommended when we were trying to find a guest, he jams with the producer of this record's son, Paul A. Rothschild. I think he produced The Doors. But yeah, Morty jams with him weekly, and I think he's in a band with him. The band for this is the Full Tilt Boogie Band. Finally, her band. This is recorded Los Angeles, 1970, mostly live field takes. Pearl is her nickname, in case anybody was wondering. It's like, meaning this is basically just Janis Joplin presents Janis Joplin. Love the album cover of the black and white portrait. It's intimate, serious. This isn't a psychedelic record. This is the furthest thing I would say from like a psychedelic album.
Yeah.
Thoughts? I don't know. I mean, you're the fucking neo hippie. I mean, can you guys trip out to this? Is this a take mescaline and listen to, or is this a drive to the hippie, to the further festival? You get in the car, you're in the love van, and you're driving.
Well, I think part of psychedelic music is when you've got people like Grace Slick and Mama Cass, you've got these strong women. It was in the sense that if it's reflective of the late 60s, it was very feminist. It was about strong women singing about, their experience with men. And so in that way, but I think it's a blues and, you got a song on here she only wrote a couple of the songs. Bobby Womack wrote one of the songs, and Chris Christopherson was the one who wrote Me and Bobby McGee. So I think a lot of it was, Americana, soft country, but she always brought blues to whatever she was doing. So I think, late 60s, what was Woodstock? What was Monterey? I think it was a fusion. You had fucking Ravi Shankar up there. I think they embraced blues. They embraced rock. They embraced, Country Joe and the Fish. Like, it was about these kids opening themselves up to different things. And like we talked about before, like, white women were not singing the blues. This was a very new thing. And what was the Dead? Were they jazz? Were they blues? Were they rock? It was a coming together of a lot of genres.
Yeah. So looking over some of the tracks, the Move Over is one of the only songs Janis wrote completely herself, lyrics and the melody. She wrote it after she discovered a lover was cheating. That's very unusually direct and confrontational for her, is what they say. It shows her trying to claim sexual agency, not just heartbreak. And the producer pushed her to tighten the vocal phrasing with less chaos, more bite. This could be a nice, a perfect combination of the right producer with the right artist at the right time to push her in the direction. Yeah, and it's often overlooked because it's not a hit. But I think this is, I mean, dude, Move Over. That's what grabbed me. You put this right on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that had me immediately. I was at the Mohegan Sun gym waiting to start my 6 p.m. Saturday show.
Yeah, I've been there.
But it's not like by the way, it's not 6 p.m. because you sold out the 8 and the 10. They start at 6 and then they do that in the 8, which I don't mind, especially when it's a drivable. You mind?
No, I'm going to Atlanta this weekend, and the Punchline does the same thing: 6, 8, and 10. And by halfway through my 10 o'clock set, I have no idea which jokes I've already told.
I know. Dude, I actually love doing that venue, because I love the staff, just everything about it. The Marcy, is that her name? The girl
Marcy's
that runs
the greatest. She is Janis Joplin.
dude. Dude, you ain't lying. Oh, but it's just the food, and then I always go to the go get soul food at what is the place called? Gosh darn it, why can't I think of it?
It's in Buckhead?
No, Mary Mac's Tea Room. I rent a car. I don't know about you. Do you rent a car?
No, I'm not a road guy. When I go on the road, I go to the hotel and the club. Except I was in Cleveland this past weekend, and I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I saw they have an SNL exhibit that it's almost worth flying in just for that. They've got a screen up where you can watch every musical performance for the last 50 years. You can just punch up on the screen.
What?
It's got headphones and a screen. I stood there for 2.5 hours just going through everybody's first appearance. And Sinead O'Connor doing this is the end of this is the last day of our engagement, where it's just her bald on an acoustic guitar, locked off on one camera that gets closer and closer until the fucking song explodes with the band with a minute left, and she starts doing this punk rock jig around this. I had tears coming down my face.
Oh, cool. So I vote on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm pushing to try to get her. I mean, I'm voting. I get you get to vote for 7. It used to be 5. You only get to pick 5, and I think you get to pick 7 people to put forward that you vote for.
She's not in?
No, she's not in. But
wow.
I don't know if she will. Not because she doesn't deserve it. It's just. It's just every year somebody bigger gets in, or there's somebody is up for eligibility. And I was shocked that Soundgarden got in, because I've been pushing for Soundgarden. I was pushing for A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, Outkast is going to get in. Of course, dude, fucking Warren Zevon got in only through just a thing of people being like, dude, you got to put him in.
I think Letterman got Warren Zevon in.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, dude, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when you see some of the people that aren't in there yet. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
I know.
Janis, obviously, she's one of the this is what I love about this kind of a rock star, is that she is, before you even know her music, you just know who Janis Joplin. I bet you if you ask and if you ask somebody that's a Gen Z, they might not know her music, but they've heard the name Janis Joplin. She is on the level of, she's like a Madonna, she's that iconic. Big, she's global.
Yeah. And and her songs are the lyrics are really catchy. They're the songs that really stay with you. And I don't know which ones they released as singles on this album. I'd be curious which ones they released as singles, because Me and Bobby McGee has probably got the most legs of any of these songs, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was the first one released. That was released first. Then it was with the B-side being Half Moon. The second one was Cry Baby, Mercedes Benz. And then the final one was Get It While You Can't Move Over.
Okay.
34 minutes of just pure fucking, just amazing.
Yeah.
Just an amazing record. And then on top of that, this is what I love about this not being a cash grab. It is basically there. It's not finished. And so they don't try to, put lyrics on the song, the instrumental.
Right.
Where is it? What is that called? That's Buried Alive in the Blues. Yeah. She dies right before that's released, and and she's supposed to record the vocals. So they just leave it that way. That's interesting, man, that they would do that. So if your voice disappeared tomorrow, what part of your work would still speak for you? What do you think? What do you think would speak out the most?
You mean looking back or going forward?
I'd say looking back.
What would stay? I would say, the great thing is my kids, assuming I still pay the $50 a month hosting fee, my kids can listen to my podcast for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
And so it's a very personal, like I talk very personally on my podcast, and I like to think they'd be interested in that. Like especially the first 15, 20 minutes of my podcast is just me talking.
Yeah.
And they may not want to hear all the interviews, but it might be nice for them to go back and listen to. A lot of it is me talking about them as kids.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I wish
Yeah.
like my dad used to do that. He was not podcasting, but he used to just when my grandmother and my aunt, my grandmother, my great aunts, all of them used to sit around and just like smoke cigarettes and like drink when they were, they're in their 80s. And my dad used to just put like a tape recorder and just hit record and just let him talk. And
Oh, really?
It was just them talking shit, dude. Yeah.
Where were they all from?
Pennsylvania, I think most of them. Yeah, because that's the thing that sucks, man, is that like my mom is kind of like the only one that still remembers a lot of the history, even my dad's history too. But my dad, like when he passed away, it's like it's just left a hole of there's so many questions. So I know my dad was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and that's where my grandmother lived. But I have no fucking idea. I think they're a Pennsylvania family. Pretty sure.
Yeah, my father died young. He was like 53, and he never told me one thing about his family growing up. And he had one brother, no cousins. His brother didn't have kids. His brother was a Skid Row alcoholic. He lived in the Bowery in a welfare motel. And so I barely knew him. And then when my father died, I don't know anything. He grew up in the Bronx. You know what I know about him?
What?
He was friends with, do you know Mike Gibbons? Mike Gibbons is like, he was the head writer on the Golden Globes. He's the head writer on all the roasts. He created Norm Macdonald's show and David Spade's show. And he's been my best friend since college.
Oh, no shit.
His father and my father were friends in the Bronx. And my daughter and Mike's daughter are really close friends their whole lives. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Surf team together growing up. But anyway, yeah, the just to bring it back to this album, I had thousands of CDs, and then when the MP3 player came out and all that, I burned them all onto my MP3 players, and I went to Amoeba Records where they were giving you like a pretty good price. They were giving you like $4 or $5 a CD back in the day. And so I sold them for a bunch of money, and I have one book with sleeves of CDs in it. And I gave it to my daughter to listen to. She's way more into music than my son. And Pearl is one of the final, I think there's 100 or 200 CDs in there. And Pearl is one of the ones that was not sold to Amoeba Records.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I'm so glad that this one popped in when it did. It's like we've done Big Brother Holding Company. I think we did Cheap Thrills. But this record though, this one really, really did kind of like get me. I'm going to say my favorite song on the record now, because I've had these moments. Like I'm trying to remember where it really, the first one where it started, where it was like I was blown away by something I had never hear, and it was only because of this podcast. It was probably something off of Maggot Brain. I think it was Hit It and Quit It, and just being completely blown away. And then doing Neil Young. God, I forget what the record is, but there's a song Lookout Joe, one of my favorite songs I've heard from doing this podcast. And when I did this record, let me get the title of it just to make sure I got it right. I don't want to fuck it up. A Woman Left Lonely, the track 3. It's a Dan Penn Spooner Oldham song. I mean, is it the most popular one of this? God, no. Is it a deep cut? Probably. God fucking damn. I listened to that song well over 100 times. I mean, it is probably in my top 10 favorite songs that I've done since I've started doing this.
Really?
Podcast. Oh my God, dude. It's Alex. Play a little bit of that song. It's track 3 on it. I'm trying to get the facts of it, but I got all my shit like completely.
Doesn't that get you demonetized when you play music on your podcast?
We can play 14 seconds and then we have to talk about it. So skip, go into like the middle of it, Alex.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Pick the best 13 seconds, Alex.
Yeah, pick the best. Read my mind, the section that I want you to play that part. Here we go.
Makes a touchy situation when a good thing's coming to an end.
And it just keep it. You can take it off. You can take it off. That just like that, just that moment right there. I mean, that's like it's like it just you feel that so deeply like inside of you that I mean, I'm just like, you know, I mean, this is like, you know, like I said, it's that perfect combination of working with the right producer because it's anything off of Cheap Thrills. This just sounds so much cleaner. And then, you know, for her to work with Rothschild, it says that she begged him to keep the arrangement minimal. Where it's like you feel like it could have gone bigger, but that's what let her voice, like it feels like this record just lets her voice be the instrument that motivates everything. The melodies are there, the organs are there, the strings are there, whatever it is. But you know, you can hear her a few times, even in that song where she just is singing so quietly, and it's barely, you know, that's what she's literally just
right.
But this is what I mean.
Well,
I'm
that's
reading
the thing about her voice is it's so powerful and it's so gravelly that you don't think she would be capable of, you know, elegant little, you know, hitting notes. But she had like perfect pitch. You know, when you listen to Move Over, when she is on top of that that guitar lead, exact. She's perfect.
Yeah. Dude, and it's like, I mean, like we said, Move Over, that's her song. Cry Baby, that's, you know, it's a cover, but it doesn't feel like a cover. It feels like, because she's reversing, like, you know, it's a dominance flip of how she's doing this, like, because it feels like she's not begging in Cry Baby, she's daring him to crawl back to her. He's like, you know, it's like, it's almost like she's calling him, you know what I mean? It's a masterclass in how she inhabited almost the covers instead of copying them.
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Bobby McGee is my favorite. I think it's a Chris Christopherson song, and it's one of those songs. I love songs that are perfect stories with beginning, middle, end. When you think about like Tangled Up in Blue, or you know, most of Tom Waits songs. You know, it's a story you don't get tired of hearing told over and over again. It's like the way she does it, it's so you feel like you're in that fucking truck with the rain on the windshield and the wiper blade. You're there.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like it's like it says Janis slightly rearranged the phrasing of the song, which giving it more loneliness than freedom. This was recorded very quickly. It became her only #1 hit. And then that lyric, "Nothing Left to Lose," took on this like mythic weight after she died, you know, where it's just, I mean, that song is, that's like a song that like when we've done the jam, like 3 or 4 women have done this song. And it's like, all right, bitch, you're going to do Janis Joplin. You better fucking nail it. You know,
I think Pink did a pretty good version of it.
Oh, well, Pink can sing. Pink can really sing.
Yeah. And I think Pink said that there was no other influence. She's like, that was it for her coming up.
Yeah. I mean, who else did it? Rosebud Baker sang it, Jen Kirkman and Jackie Tone, and each one of them. Like when Rosebud did it, I was like, there's sing Janis. She fucking murdered it.
Wow.
And Kirkman did it, but she dressed up as Janis. So I think the outfit and everything kind of, you know, she looked just like Janis Joplin. Like she had the fucking bow with the thing in her hair. and
Uh-huh.
you know, Mercedes-Benz, written in 10 minutes, in a bar with friends, like we said, recorded a cappella, one take. There's no intention of it being like a major track. It's a satire on consumerism disguised as a drunk prayer. It's the last song she ever recorded, and it became one of her most culturally referenced moments. Why do you think that is Mercedes-Benz? Is it because it's just her? It's because, you know, she's you know, uh, it's because it's this satire, you know, disguised
I
as.
feel like it was a fuck you to where she came from. It really felt personal, you know, like she was talking about the girls that had made fun of her, and that their aspirations, rather than finding themselves and moving to San Francisco and fucking 1,000 guys and doing drugs, was to just get this car. If they could just get this car, and God was involved. Like they were using God to get a fucking car. So that's how it. And we have these family reunions. My mother's side of the family, as opposed to my father's, is the opposite. My mother was one of 6, and they each had like 7 kids. And there was 10. My grandfather was one of 13
Jesus.
from Ireland. So we would have these family reunions where we would rent out like a resort at the Poconos, and we'd all go. And then I started running a talent show that I would host.
What?
And the kids would get up and do little songs and
Wait,
sketches.
Stop for a second. I'm assuming you guys made T-shirts, like, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's the Fitzsimmons
Yeah, we were
annual
that group.
42nd get the fuck together in the Poconos retreat.
Yeah.
It's like what black people do when somebody
rocking the
dies.
Shamrock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so everybody, you know, some of the older people would do Irish limericks that they grew up in Ireland saying. And anyway, my cousin Janine, who I love, who's a total free spirit, she got up and sang Mercedes-Benz a cappella and fucking killed it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you a singer? Should I book you on the
Can't
jam?
sing it. Can't sing at all. No, I can't. I can get up and play an instrument, but I can't. I play harmonica and guitar.
Good to know, because that's you could just come up and solo and just get on the fucking.
I can't solo. I play rhythm guitar.
All right,
I could solo on the harmonica. Yeah.
There you go. You'll go Blues Traveler. We'll go Blues
Yeah.
Traveler.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I feel like we've hit pretty much the majority of this important shit to make this record. Alex, you were the guy that put all this shit together that I'm looking at. Is there anything that you think we missed before I start going? Because I have a couple final questions.
Let me look this over again. See if
While you look that over, do you think Janis is remembered because she died young, or is it because she was honest enough that she could have survived if she'd gotten the chance?
Well, I think rock music was never bigger than when she was in the, you know, crescendo of rock music. I mean, some people say it doesn't even exist anymore. And she was one of the faces of it. You know, she was one of the, I think she's up there in terms of records sold of all time. I mean, she's top 20 of rock albums ever sold.
Yeah.
And no, I think that she was an original voice and an accessible voice. So no, I think that that's why she's remembered.
Do you think that the tortured artist thing is bullshit? Do you think that we only mythologize the ones who don't make it out? Or do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like audiences secretly want our artists to suffer?
Not anymore. I think they used to. But now you've got, you know, Green Day is considered punk rock now. And those guys are on their tour bus making fucking green smoothies and doing social media. Like that's the new face of rock and roll. And I think the fans want that.
Yeah. What is it you think about the 60s and the 70s and the 80s? I mean, when do you think it stopped? When do you think it was like we don't want the torture? I think we still do. I think there's something about, I mean, even Radiohead is starting to come back right now. And, you know, Jeff Buckley's having with his documentary is having a second go round. And You know, I'm trying to think of some new artists because it's like, how do you suffer? Is Taylor Swift suffering? No, because the media puts her boyfriend, her relationships, and has talked about her breakups. Is that suffering? No,
well, I feel like there's a lot of country artists that have problems with alcohol that are pretty well publicized, and I think it's definitely part of that culture. I mean, you listen to a Chris Stapleton album, and like 7 out of 10 tracks are about whiskey, and but I think that rock, I think grunge came back. I think grunge brought it back, you know, but I think that. I don't know. I just don't know that rock exists anymore in this form. Because I think that part of this was acid was opening people's minds.
Yeah.
You know, there was a reason why the Nixon administration started a war on drugs, because it was making young people critically think about the actions of the government, and they didn't want that. And so I think the drinking and the drugs, certainly heroin doesn't open your mind to anything, but like it was all under the umbrella of, you know, turning in and
like tune in, turn off. Yeah, it's all that shit. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know it, but I know it. You did that, huh? You turned off, tuned in?
No, I was always in.
You
gotta be in.
You gotta be in if you're hacky sacking, dude. You gotta be fully present to sack.
I wasn't hitchhiking behind the tour bus selling fucking granola bars and standing outside the show going, I need a miracle. They would stand out there hoping you'd give them a free ticket, and they'd yell, I need a miracle.
Just one. Just one.
They still do.
Do they?
They still do.
Oh, I get so worried. I was at a concert and like I'll get free tickets from shows sometimes, and they'll give me, so I'll get 2 tickets, even though it's only just me going, and I'll see somebody that's like, hey, can I get just one? And I want to give it to them, but then if it's a seat, I don't want to sit next to that person.
Yeah.
And then 2, I'm always worried that if you give somebody a free ticket, especially if I'm getting a comp and it's like in a section, or even if it's not in a comp, they can trace the ticket back to the person, let's say, and then that person does something wrong, and then I'm the one that gave it to them. You know.
I want to ask you a question before we go.
What do you got?
Top 3 songs for walk-on music when you go on stage.
I don't have a consistent one. I don't think I've ever really had a consistent one. Rock always works. I like in a perfect world, like if I was famous enough, and I could riff off of it. There's a song, Spread Your Love by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club that I just love. It's just this like it's very bluesy but grungy blues. You've heard it for sure because it's been in commercials.
But what do you come up to in the clubs when you?
I have a guitarist, so they just play like noise, and then I like run through.
Got it.
If I don't, like sometimes I just do the instrumental version. I have them download the instrumental version of that Mary J. Blige song. Let's get it flappy, slappy, hunky, dunky, and then I riff off that.
That's good.
I'll say this: when I did Madison Square Garden, I was brought up to "Moving Out" by Billy Joel. And it was just like, it was perfect because it just being in his home. Do you know what I mean? That was like, he has had that residency and the audience really like came with me. I'm trying to think of some other things. I've gone up to Living on a Prayer before. I've gone up to Love Shack like a fucking idiot and then just like bomb my face off thinking I'll like riff off of his voice.
Yeah, you can't. It's funny because I'll just tell you my 3.
What are your 3?
Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top, because the guitar just kicks straight in.
It's a great song.
Tumbling Dice by the Rolling Stone. It's that
Love
little
it.
Keith Richards lick right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the other one I like? Panama by Van Halen.
Oh yeah. Also, I can say this, and I think this is probably a better way to do it. I'll say my top 3 jam songs that we started with, that are basically walk-on songs because we're coming out to that.
Yeah.
Zombie always fucking rules. That is
Yeah.
That's a great song. Enter Sandman is another
Oh,
one.
yeah.
And that's just a fun one because when that really like kicks in and the way that I do it is that I don't know any of the words to it. I just know the first line. It's like, say your prayer, say your prayer, say your fucking prayer. And I just keep saying that over and over.
Yeah.
And then what would be the third one that's like, oh,
Well,
it's like
Van
always,
Halen, a
Yeah,
lot
dude.
of Van Halen songs, because they just kick right in immediately.
Yeah, and then
You don't have to tell the sound guy to cue it up to 13 seconds. It's just there.
I came, you know what's funny is I came out to Panama when I did my New Faces showcase, and because but I kept singing like Canada, and but I tried to like do the kicks. I was like, we have such a huge stage and no one's moving around, and I go to like move around, not knowing that the mic cord was so short that I pulled, which then pulled like 3 of the front speakers, and so it fucked me up, and then I bombed for the next 3 minutes, and then luckily had a moment of presence to go, dude, take a breath, slow down, because you're bombing in front of all of Hollywood. And then I finished very strong, but I'll never forget those 3 minutes. I guess my last question about this record, and we might have already said it, but you know, like look at this. So it's like so if Janis lives, and let's say she gets sober, because she continues her sobriety, because she was sober when she made this record, or at least that's what they're saying. And she makes 5 more records, but not as strong as this. Do you think we're still calling her a legend, or eventually would they just say that she lost it? You know what I mean? Like, is this record strong enough to propel if she makes mediocre bullshit the rest of her career? Thoughts?
It's hard to imagine that she would make mediocre shit, because I feel like, you know, like when you think about going to the crossroads and, you know, meeting the devil and getting the gift of the blues, she got it. She had it. There was no, it might have taken different forms and shapes, but assuming her drug use didn't keep her from performing at the top, I think she would have been, you know, like a Aretha Franklin. She would have just kept belting it out forever.
Yeah. And Aretha, obviously a legend, you know, beyond legend, you know, but towards the end she got a little big, you know. Started looking more and more like my Aunt Shirley. My Aunt Shirley is like a white Jewish version of Aretha Franklin. Like they look exactly. I wish I had a picture of both of them. Also, I don't know if Aretha did this, but my Aunt Shirley is basically laundering money for for some Nigerian con artists. Like me and my sister we've had to we have power of attorney. We've had to stop it. She's like going crazy. But yeah, I mean, it was like, it's that question I always ask. It's like, so, all right, so I know this before I do the final questions, which is the ones I ask everybody. If there's an artist that died early that you would have loved to have seen, whose career, what they would have done the most, and this could be any musician that died early, and not even early, just died when they died. Could be John Lennon, who died at 40. You know what I mean? Was he 40? He must. Yeah, he was 40, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to double check that math just to make sure. But yeah, whose career would you have loved to have seen? Yeah, he was 40 years old when he died.
Musician who died. Yeah, I gotta say, and I haven't seen the documentary, but Jeff Buckley's album Grace feels like what would have been the beginning of a fucking Bob Dylan like run of music. I would have loved his songwriting was so poignant and his voice was haunting, and the album was an album. Like, it was one of those albums like you got to tell your kids, like, don't listen to single tracks. This is meant to be consumed for 43 minutes while sitting alone with some headphones on.
I agree with you. I love Jeff Buckley. Grace is a phenomenal record, and the documentary on HBO is
I gotta see that.
it's amazing. And if anybody hasn't watched it, and listen to the episode. If you really need something good, we had the lead singer of Incubus on to talk about that record, and I mean,
Yeah.
just talking about his voice, he's so right. It's like he might be one of the greatest, rock and roll singers that ever lived. It just, and not like power, just the falsetto, the angelicness of it, the way that he sang. It's the exact opposite of what Janis did, because Janis is like singing from her fucking pussy. Like she's just and her pussy is built Ford tough, dude. It is not. It is beat to shit, dude. No, I agree with you. I think that's a perfect answer for that. All right, let's do the final questions. Get you out of here. Favorite song on this album? What do you pick?
Bobby McGee for sure.
How can you not? I mean,
I never get sick of it. It's so funny when you have some songs that you've heard 1,000 times, and because the thing is, like, when I turn there's a song, like if I hear Bohemian Rhapsody, which I fucking love, I can't listen from the middle of the song. There's songs that build, like there's a lot of Zeppelin songs that you can't just tune in halfway through, Stairway to Heaven, because you missed the build. And I feel like Bobby McGee, wherever it is in the song, I'm in for the rest of the song. It's like I said before, she's accessible.
Very. No, I agree with you. I listened to this pretty hardcore for about a week, and then I put it away, and then I listened to it again a week or so ago, and then I just re-listened to it again today. And once you get to Me and Bobby McGee, I mean, it's a perfect song. It is a perfect, like you said, it paints the picture. It is her voice. It's just like, there's moments in it. The way she says certain things, like talking about windshield wipers. I was like, I didn't know any of these lyrics. Like I followed her around. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Windshield wipers, serpentine, holding Bobby's hand in mine.
I know, it's crazy.
Beautiful line.
What would you skip over? Anything you'd skip over?
No. It's one of these albums that every song, they're all really different from each other. And, like you said, with Move Over, it just grabs you. Like you start playing it and it grabs you. And then, like I listened to it a couple times over the last couple days. And I just got this new Sonos speaker that really fills up the room.
Which one?
And it's like a cylinder. It's pretty big. I actually got two of them. I got two pretty big ones, one for the back house, one for the front. It fills the whole house.
Bro,
and
I've got $6,000 worth of Sonos speakers. They were early sponsor of the pod.
Oh, really?
I had bought a bunch of shit, but dude, I have they sent me a Move. They sent me one of the big Play ones. Like
I got one of those too.
Oh, I've got like 4 speakers in here. I've got 2 in my bedroom. I have 1 in the kitchen.
And the best is if you leave the room with your cell phone, it doesn't stop playing.
No,
because it's on Wi-Fi.
Oh, I love it. Yo, dude, you gotta get me. I am huge. I mean, I wish they still like kept, were a sponsor and kept sending us shit, because that was amazing.
Yeah.
Getting those packages. Oh, those were great. God bless. It's one of the few things that Dark Lord Spotify did right, is that they found us the right, what do you call it?
Synergy.
Companies, ad sales people at the beginning that just they just nailed it. Headphones. And they would be like, we're going to send you, a $700 pair of headphones just for you to try out and keep. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they won't even do an ad, and we'd be like, are you sure? So I have to send these back? No, they're yours. Okay, cool.
Oh, I know. I got this bong company started sponsoring the show, and they would send me these. They were called freeze pipes, and there were these like artistic glass. Some of them were like 3 feet tall, and they were really fucking expensive. And I swear to you, I read one ad, and they sent me like 7 of these bongs. And so I went to the local head shop, because I don't even smoke pot. And I'm like, can I sell these? And the guy goes, well, I'll consign them if you want to put them on the shelf and tell me how much you want for them. And I was, $300 for this one, $250 for this one. And they fucking all sold in like 2 weeks. And I got a big stack of cash from the head shop.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so much. Yeah. Well, we have one of our sponsors is the, they're a vaporizer, and they got packs, and I've got like 5 of these like $400 like portable vaporizers that I just never use, and
Nice.
it's like
eBay, baby.
Yeah, but they got my name on them.
Yeah,
they always engrave it, so they can't just give them away.
Uh-huh.
Before I go into the final things, I just realized this actually made it to the this stayed on the 500 greatest album list, but it dropped down on the newer version in 2003. This was number 122. Then the one we're doing now, this is 125 in the 2012 list, and on the 2020 list, it dropped to number 259.
Well, I gotta say, you look at some of these early picks on the list now, and I'm all for affirmative type action, but the DEI front loading on this list is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, what on the 2012 list? The 2012 list is
no, the recent
list. The new one. Oh, dude, the new one is. I remember when that came out, I made the joke. I was like, "Who voted on this? George Floyd." My God,
exactly.
it is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. And look, I'm not saying that Nas Illmatic isn't one of the greatest records ever made in hip hop or in all music, but the fact that it went from like number 300 something to number like 10, you're like, okay. And then Outkast Aquemini, which was number 500, dropped to the bottom 100, and you're like, I'm like, it's a great record. And true, the list that we're doing is like old white people, without a doubt. Fucking, dude, like the Paul Butterfield Blues Band should not be on here.
Yeah.
But it is on the list, and we did it.
But,
and there are other things that probably should have made it on. And I think they need to find Rolling Stone overcompensated when they should have found that good balance, because there's no reason that Sgt. Pepper should go from number 1 to number 25 in the new list. That's insane. All right. Can you fuck to this record? Can you fuck to Janis Joplin Pearl?
Yes, that's day sex. Lights are on. You're on top of the comforter. It's smiling. There's eye contact. Yeah. And she's on top because this is Janis. She's on top.
Yeah, and so your girl can groove to yeah, this is, I love that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And what would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to this? Like, how do you sum this record up? If we might have already said it, but what would be your, like, hey man, if you never listened to Janis Joplin Pearl?
I would say I don't know that musical artists today have the kind of power of personality that Janis Joplin had. And I think that this album captures somebody who, although she hadn't been around a long time, she was an old soul. And like we said, she didn't write a lot of these songs, but she basically curated, 10 tracks of bluesy, great. I think it's one of the great American albums of all times. It's blues based, it's pop culture, it's satirical. I just think it's a snapshot of somebody who really has a unique voice.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about the legend that is Janis Joplin, I mean, you could give them Big Brother Holding Company, Cheap Thrills, but I think this is what you got to give them.
Yeah,
I think this is like it's. I mean, like if you're listening to Miles Davis, I mean, you could give him Birth of the Cool, but I would say, man, Kind of Blue. There you go. This is the record that I would give to somebody. It's just such an easily digestible. Like, I don't think there's a lot of artists where you could say, but what do you start them out with? It's like, even though this is her last thing, this is what you would start anybody out on Janis. And I think you're capturing the legend at their like the peak of what it not the peak. It's just like the beginning of where it could have gone. I think the next
was just getting better.
Yeah. Dude, it's Is there a comic that who would be like the Janis Joplin of comedy? Who died before, right? Dropped the one thing. I mean, Patrice with Elephant in the Room and then passing
probably
away.
Patrice. I could see that. Who else was really at their peak? Well, Hicks was still, I think, Hicks was just getting smarter and more in control of his craft when he died. Yeah, I would have liked to see Hicks turn into like a Carlin, an elder statesman who kept talking the truth.
Yeah. I don't know. Does anybody died and then their special got released? Besides the guy that wanted to go on Letterman, they made a documentary.
Oh, right. And then he didn't die, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, dude, there was Jesus Christ. We had a couple of those guys. I'm not going to name names. I don't know if you remember. There was the guy that like had like horrible cancer, and there was like he's got 6 months to live, and then they gave him an HBO special.
Yeah, that's who I thought you meant.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I think he's still alive. I'm almost positive
he's still alive. Yeah,
that sucks, dude. You have to die.
That's embarrassing for him. You got to die.
Fake it.
Yeah.
Fake your own death and just go live out in Tulum or like Thailand or Dominican Republic or some shit like that. I don't know. That's what I would do. Dude, promote away. Anything you want to promote?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to be when does this come out?
Tomorrow.
Oh, then I'm going to be in Atlanta this weekend at the Punchline, the 15th through the 17th. I'll be at the Irvine Improv the 23rd and 24th. And then I'll be at the Comedy Mothership in Austin the 30th through the 1st. Sacramento at the Punchline, February 5 through 7. Next week in Philly. Next week in Lexington. The next week in Houston. The next week in Fort Worth. Fitzdog.com. Get some tickets. Come see some live comedy.
Come see him. Come see him. Come see him. You're one of my favorites.
Thanks,
so happy,
man.
I'm so happy that you came back on this, man, because we had I'll just say it, because if you listen to the next episode, you're going to hear me and Wayne Fetterman talking about we thought we were going to have Judd Apatow for a moment, who's done it before. And because we in the episode, I'm like, I need a guest for fucking Janis Joplin. And he goes, you should have Judd, his family in this. And I was like, fuck it. I was like, so that's the next episode, which we taped before this one.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be funny when they hear, they're going to be like, oh, wait, that wasn't, we got Greg instead of Judd. I'm much happier.
Oh,
with you
good.
Instead
good,
of
good.
Judd.
Yeah. Judd's a dud. No, I just texted Judd yesterday to tell him he did a good job on the Golden Globes.
Oh,
he did a very funny piece. Yeah, it was good.
And he killed it, and Fetterman loves you too. So when I told him, he was like, "Tell me to say what's up to you."
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So Fetty Wap says hello, dude. Please come back on, brother. You're one of my favorites. You know I love you. So
anytime, man. Love you too. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, Alex.